Morning. Happy Friday. Happy 2021. Today is New Year's Day. Hope everybody had a safe New Year's Eve last night. As for me, I'm an old fogey. I haven't been going out for New Year's for years now. And normally my wife and I will lay around and watch the Twilight Zone marathon. And in this case, last night or yesterday, Kiss performed. Big Kiss fan. I've seen Kiss quite a few times live. And the last time I saw them was their farewell tour, which was about 8 farewells ago. But when you see a live performance, you're there, it's loud, the crowd is there, you get caught up in the moment, you're partying, you get home and you don't remember half of it. In this case, when you see a performance like they did last night, I mean, basically, from my understanding, they had like 15 different camera angles. The sound, the mix, everything was really good. And to see the detail of the performance and being able to hear everything, I was impressed. I thought it was great. Had a good time watching that, and that's the way I spent my New Year's Eve. As for peak cycles, we are going to take a look at a T2 that I'm working on right now. It has different stays in the rear, so we're going to go over that. Thought I'd share that with you. After that, we're going to talk about a couple new peak cycle products for 2021, and that's pretty much what we're going to go over today. So let's go ahead and get things started and see what's happening with peak cycles. A little more than halfway through this T2 frame here, and I just decided to start rolling camera. Didn't want to repeat myself, but I'm doing something a little different with the rear end of this frame and the chain stays, and that is this. Basically, with the original T2, the chain stays come off this area here and shoot straight back. In this case, this is a roll bend, and it comes into a hard JD bend here. Going to give us a different look. I don't really enjoy doing these because if you screw them up, pretty much a waste of material, but when they come out right, look beautiful. So let's go ahead and cut these down, get them mocked up, and keep it moving. Quick look here as we have the stays measured up and cut down. These will come off the bottom of the frame there. Let's go ahead and mock it up. Jump in here real quick when I talk about the roll band to the hard band. I've talked about this in previous episodes. Basically a compound band, and what I do is I take a straight stick, run it through the roller bender, and I mark off about 12 inches so that it doesn't hit the rollers. It gives me a piece of straight at the end. Once I get it where I want it, I take that straight end, and that's what I feed into the JD bender, and I'm basically putting bends back to back. When I talk about not really liking doing these, it's not that I don't like it, it's just a challenge every time. Challenges are good. The difficult part about pulling this off is that when you run the stick through the JD after you have your roll band, that roll band needs to be perfectly flat so that that hard bend is coming into the frame straight. If it's skewed, that bend coming into the frame is also going to be skewed. It'll make more sense here in a minute. Let's go ahead and keep it going. Here's our first mock-up, and gives us a pretty good idea of how it's going to look. And this particular client asked for something different. They wanted the stays to roll reverse like that. I really don't plan on doing this going forward. It's quite a bit of work. However, this client invested a little more money to make it happen. And so here we are. Going to trim the underside of the dropouts here. This is the original dropout. We need to make it fit for these stays. We're going to cope. Do the other side. Keep it moving. And here we have the stays coped. Nice and tight there. We're going to trim the underside of the dropouts here, being they were designed for straight stays. These are curved. Cut off the end here and cap it. Coming together, starting to look like something. And before we trim the underside of these dropouts here, I want to be certain that the seat stays are exactly where they need to be. If there's any adjustment at all, this line here would be off and our chain stays won't be meeting. Once we have everything fine-tuned, we'll pull it off, give it a trim. Mock everything back up. Then move on to the seat stays. Okay, one more thing. I know this keeps turning into a measure twice, cut once type of thing, but I just thought of this. These dropouts are originally designed for disc brakes, and I will be adding a brake tab for this coaster brake on the underside of the chainstay. My concern here is the brake arm being long enough to reach the tab. And so we can see here, looks plenty long enough. So now that we know that we are good here, we'll give it a cut, and now we can keep moving. Everything's back on the frame jig, mocked up. Miter's tight. Coping's tight. And if it looks like there's a lot going on back here, that's because there is. Bottom of the dropouts are trimmed up there. Kind of hard to see, but we're good to go. We'll go ahead and give it a cut. Cap them off. Keep it moving. Stays cut. Everything back in place. All lined up. Starting to take shape. And pretty good idea of how it's going to look here. Let's go ahead and cap it off and call it a night. It's pretty much going to do it for the frame this week. I still have to cap it and weld it up. We will continue with the finished product next week. I'm going to move on to Peak Cycle's new products for 2021, and let's go ahead and start with this. Z-bars. Here they are on the flesh, and I did not invent Z-bars. They've been around for a very long time. Originated in the motorcycle world. There's been quite a few guys in the bicycle world who've been fabricating them, and is pretty much why I haven't really carried them. However, I still get hit up on Z-bars, and I thought to myself, okay, if I'm going to carry them, is there something I can do that's maybe a little different? Now, again, I didn't invent this, but I've been doing this signature for Peak Cycles bars pretty much since the beginning, and that is the drop in the bar ends. Normally Z-bars is just like the letter Z, where they'll come up straight and they go straight out. In this case, I dropped them down. Got some nice pullback. That's pretty much it. If interested in a Z-bar, Peak Cycles now carries these. Be sure to hit me up. Moving on to the next. Probably thinking to yourself, man, those handlebars look really familiar. And basically, here they are right here. These are the Rough Cycle Ron bars. And there was a thread on social media of a guy looking for the Ron bar. He couldn't find them anywhere, sold out everywhere. And from my understanding, Rough Cycles is not distributing to retailers anymore. So pretty much anything that's sold out in the States, pretty much done. So I replied, my name came up several times, and I replied and I said I can do something similar, but I won't copy them out of respect of the original manufacturer or designer. Meanwhile, I went ahead and took it upon myself to reach out to Rough Cycles and talk to the man himself, and he basically gave me the green light to fabricate them. So I will do a handful of these. I'm not going to do a mass production. I don't want to step on Rough Cycles' toes, but if there is a few requests that come in for them, I will do them. This is the 12-inch version, which is what they call the long version. They have an 8-inch version. I can do them however tall or short you want them. These are a little wider than normal. These are at 24 inches. They're normally 22 inches. And that's pretty much it. So, if interested in a Ron bar for a limited time, hit me up. Moving on to the next. Here they are in the flesh, and I really like these. Posted a sneak peek last night, and of course people chimed in, and I've had this idea for a while, and a lot of people were saying the same thing. I'm sure I'm not the only person who's thought of it. One guy even said, I've been wondering why they don't sell bent triple trees. Well, here's the deal. It was work, and normally you would say, well, why don't you just do like you did with the stays and roll a piece and then keep a straight end? The problem with that is, in order to keep these two pieces symmetrical, I've said this many times in many episodes in the past, is you roll one stick, you cut it in half, and you've got matching radiuses. In this case, if you roll it and you keep that straight end, as I mentioned with the stays, every time you stop here on each end, if you don't stop and press down on those dies exactly the same on each end, I mean exactly the same, one's going to be a little bit more pinched than the other, which is going to push the fork leg, one fork leg in front of the other once you have these straight ends in. Trust me, it's not as easy as it looks. So I found the most consistent way to do it would be to do what I said, and you roll one stick, cut it in half, cut those straight ends off, and then you're sleeving new straight ends in. And boom, look at that. Perfect. Problem is, it did work. So again, I posted that last night to get a feel for it, see if people would be interested, and just from a sneak peek picture, the response was pretty overwhelming. So if you're interested in these, the cost is going to reflect in the work. You can DM me and we can discuss. But meanwhile, you know I'm going to be using these on a build. That's pretty much going to wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed today's version of what's happening at Peak Cycles. And until next time, make it a killer day! Sinking again? Sure as hell now. Jump in here real quick and I talk about the roll band to a hard band. Basically, the roll band is that big, broad roll band. Big, broad roll band. If it's skewed, that hard band that's coming in is going to come into the frame. Z-bars. Whoa. Z-bars. Damn it.